Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. For today's video, I'm going to just be doing a little Q&A and answering some of your guys' questions that you've been asking me. So over the past couple months, I have put up 2 different little question polls on my Instagram, and I've had a lot of you guys just submit your questions about me, about my guinea pigs, about what I do for school and what I do for work, and just general questions about my life. So I thought that today would be nice to just sit down and go ahead and just answer some of those questions. All right, so the first question we have here is, how much is your monthly order / haul? So I don't exactly track how much I spend in each of my monthly hauls, but I do just like track generally everything I spend on my guinea pigs over the entire month. So I have right here, actually, this is all of my spending for both August and September. So in August, I spent around $462, and in September, I spent around $689. So there's definitely a jump there, but from August to September, I went from like 5 pigs to 7 pigs, and I did do a lot of cage upgrades and a lot of stuff like that. So the $700 I spent in September is a bit on the higher end, and then in August it's a bit on the lower end. So I feel like this month in October I'll probably get the best gauge of how much my monthly spending is, because those 2 months were sort of like the 2 ends of the extreme. But I'd say probably anywhere from like $500 to $800 is how much I spend a month on my guinea pigs. That includes everything. That includes vet visits, veggies, toys, hay, food, all the stuff I buy for them. I do buy them a lot of stuff that isn't necessary per se, so I buy a lot of new hides and a lot of new treats and a lot of new stuff and a lot of fleece. I buy a ton of fleece, and some of that stuff is more for me than it is for them, but I still count it as the guinea pig expense. So even if I buy like 4 blankets of fleece, I still write it down as an expense for them, even though that's sort of more for me to look at their cages and enjoy that, since they don't really care what their cages look like. But yeah, that's sort of the estimate there. If you guys want me to start including in my monthly hauls how much I've spent that month, let me know. I'll have to try and track it better. I've been tracking it like okay so far. This is a rough estimate, I would say, how much I spend each month, and by no means do guinea pigs have to cost this much every month. I definitely spend more than I need to, but I enjoy spending money on them and I have the money to spend on them, so that's sort of why I spend more on the higher end. And the next question is, would you ever own a dog? I would own a dog. I don't know if I really think a dog is a good choice in this apartment right now. Since I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, it's a bit on the smaller side, and I would worry a lot about keeping a dog out of the guinea pig room. I would definitely be okay to own a dog in the future, and I know my boyfriend would he really wants to own a dog in the future. So probably in the future we will own a dog. I don't exactly know when. So right now, I don't really feel comfortable having a dog with the amount of space in this apartment and with my guinea pigs and with just trying to keep them safe. But in the future, yes, I would own a dog. Next question is, when did you get involved into guinea pig stuff? So I owned my first guinea pig when I turned 10 years old. So when I was 10, I owned this guinea pig, and her name was S'mores, and she lived to be 5 years old. And that was sort of my first experience with guinea pigs. I was very young, so I didn't know nearly anywhere near what I know today, just because I was so young, and for a few years of owning her, I didn't even have internet access. So I wasn't even allowed to access the internet till I was 13, I think. So for the first 3 years of owning her, I had no idea what proper guinea pig care looked like, because I was 10 and I couldn't access the internet, and there just wasn't as much information out there as there is today. And then for my current guinea pigs, I adopted my first 2 guinea pigs about a little over a year ago in September of 2020. So I would say that's when I really started getting involved into guinea pig stuff. I don't really think my childhood experience with my guinea pig then was really anywhere close to what I do with my guinea pigs now. So I would definitely say that I got involved in guinea pig stuff when I adopted them in September of last year, and then more heavily probably in January of this year, when I really started to focus on my channel and when I made my Instagram and really just joined all of those different things. I would definitely say that end of last year, beginning of this year was when I really got into guinea pig stuff. And the next question is, what do you do for work? So currently I have 2 part-time jobs. I work as a work-study student on my college campus, and then I also work at a grocery store. And then I also have this YouTube channel, and I sort of consider that also sort of like a third part-time job for me, just because it does take up so much of my time. So currently, if you count YouTube, I have 3 part-time jobs, which is a lot, but you know, it's good because it means that I can have enough money to take care of my pigs, to just feel safe that I can provide them whatever they need. And then the next question is, what are you going to school for? So I'm currently going to school for advertising and public relations. That's my major. I'm also majoring in women's and gender studies, but advertising and PR is sort of my main focus. And I'm currently in my 3rd year. I'm a junior, so I only got about a year and a half left now till I graduate. And then the next question is, do you prefer male or female guinea pigs? So I would say definitely, now that I have had the chance to own both males and females, I would definitely say that I prefer female guinea pigs. No shade to my males. I love them very, very much, but they just come with a lot more stress in my opinion. So when I just owned Waffles as a single male, I really didn't have a preference then of males over females. For me, cleaning his sack and cleaning the male's sacks isn't really that bad. I don't really mind it too much, but once I got Cinnamon and I had to go through the process of bonding my males, that's when I really realized that I prefer females, just because bonding males for me is so difficult. Males aren't as likely to bond to each other. Their bonds may break in the future, and they just generally do a ton more dominance behavior, which kind of freaks me out a little bit. I know it's all normal to watch, but just watching them do dominance behavior all day long just makes me very anxious that like their bond's going to break or something's going to happen, and I'm not going to be here to see it. And I don't feel that constant stress over my females because their bonds are much more settled and everything. So I think that I really do prefer females, especially because you can keep females in larger herds. With males, they do best in pairs. You can do larger herds, but you would need a ton of space, and you would need males that have the right personality for that. So for me personally, definitely I prefer females. I'm not sure if I'm going to own any more males after Cinnamon and Waffles. It really depends. I think I would only really want to own a neutered boar at that point to go with my girls. Definitely prefer females. Definitely am looking, if I ever get more guinea pigs, they will probably be females. I'm not really looking to get any more males in the future. So yeah, definitely prefer females. Next up, someone said, get a bunny. Also, are you going to bond all of them? So I'm not really sure if this question was asked a while ago. I'm a little confused about the are you going to bond all of them. I'm wondering if I'm assuming you're referencing all of my females. In that case, no, I will not be bonding all of my females together, just because my senior female Honey does not get along with the 3 in this cage behind me. So she has her own buddy and they have each other, but I'm not going to be bonding all 5 of them just because they don't get along with Honey. The 3 girls in here don't like Honey. I think it's just her age is so much older than all of them, and she really is very dominant. Honey's like my most dominant female pig, and I just don't think this herd behind me accepted that when I tried the bonding. As much as I would love to have one giant herd with all of my girls, with Honey's personality, it's just not going to work at this time. But in the future, I will definitely be bonding Sage to my trio once Honey passes. So that's sort of the plan for the future. But for now, I will not be bonding all 5 of them. They will be living in the herd of 3 and then the herd of 2. Oh, and the get a bunny part. I forgot about that. Get a bunny. Yes, I would really love to own 2 bunnies. That's my goal, is I want to get a bonded pair of bunnies and I want to adopt them from a local rescue or local SPCA. So that's really where I'm stuck, because my local SPCAs don't really get bonded pairs of bunnies very often. So it's just been really difficult for me to find a pair of already bonded bunnies at a rescue. I do want them already bonded, just because bonding bunnies I don't think is something that I feel qualified for. I've seen a couple of videos on it. It looks very intense, very in-depth process, very different from bonding guinea pigs, and so I'd sort of just like to avoid that if possible. So I've been keeping my eye out for a bonded pair on my rescue websites, and that's pretty much where I am now, is just waiting to see the perfect pair, and that may take a month, it may take 6 months, it may take a year. I don't know when I'm going to find the bonded pair that's right for me, but I'm content to wait until I do, and in the meantime, I do need to get started on maybe sort of planning the setup that I want and just sort of all of that. But yes, I would very much so like to own a bunny in the future. It just sort of depends on what bunnies are available at my local rescues. Next question is, what do you feed your guinea pigs? So I feed my guinea pigs second cut Timothy hay from Small Pet Select. That's the bulk of their hay, but I also feed oxbow hay sometimes when I run out. I typically feed the Western Timothy Orchard blend, and I also feed them the Oxbow Garden Select pellets. Each of my pigs gets an 1/8 cup of pellets every day. And then for veggies, I usually just feed feed a wide variety. Usually my staples include like green leaf, red leaf, romaine, and all the colors of peppers, both the sweet colored ones and the green ones. They get some color of pepper every single day. Then they usually get a more leafier green, like one of the kinds of lettuce. And then I usually just do a variety of herbs that I sort of rotate every time I go to the grocery store. So some of those include cilantro, parsley. They just had dill for the first time this week. I fed them arugula, collard greens, and then I've also fed mustard greens before. The mustard and collard greens, I can't remember which one I fed, but they smelled awful. I think I fed collard greens. They smelled literally so gross. So I will not be feeding collard greens again just because I hate the smell. And then sometimes I also feed the little like mixed greens that they have like pre-packed at the grocery store, but that's something that I rotate just because it can be higher in calcium. So all of my herbs I sort of rotate, and so they get a variety of herbs, and then they get a staple of peppers, and then a staple of one of the kinds of lettuce. And I also feed endive a lot. Endive isn't something I've seen before until the grocery store I work at. They have endive, and it's like a lower calcium veggie, so I do feed that fairly frequently as well. Not as frequently as the regular kinds of lettuce, but just because it is lower in calcium, I do feel comfortable feeding it more often. Do you have a favorite? So I don't think I have a favorite guinea pig. I think that all of my guinea pigs have such unique personalities that I literally like could not pick a favorite just because I like them all for different reasons. Of course, I love my pigs that enjoy being pet and enjoy like interacting with me. But I also enjoy like watching my pigs that don't want to be pet. Like Pepper. Pepper hates me. I don't know where she is, but she hates me. She won't let me pet her. She'll only take food for me, but I love watching her. She's just so cute, and I love watching her have fun. She popcorns so much in her cage. It's so cute. So I feel like I can't pick a favorite pig per se, just because I like all of them for different reasons. And I don't think like if I had to choose one, I literally don't think I could. And so I think that I don't have a favorite. There's Pepper, actually. Pepper. See? She does not care about me. But everyone's like staring at me right now as I film this, so I feel like I can't say that I have a favorite, especially on camera. But I really don't. I love all of them. Do you think guinea pigs need a litter tray? So I think if you want to use a litter tray for your guinea pigs, that's really up to you. I have litter trays for all of mine just because I serve my hay in hay piles. So some people prefer to serve their hay in like bags and stuff, or like little hay racks, but I really prefer to serve my hay in one huge pile just because it's really enriching for them, and it's really natural for them to be able to burrow in their pile of hay, lay in their hay. Even if they poo and pee in their hay, that's what's natural for them, and it's still enriching for them to have their hay that way, so I don't really consider it a waste. So because I prefer hay piles, litter boxes I would say are the best option for hay piles. So because it's going to get dirty faster, you don't really just want to have it on fleece. I think litter boxes are good if you're doing hay piles, and especially if you have a fleece cage, I think a litter box is good to have your hay near that area because they're going to poo and pee most near their hay, whether it's a hay pile or some other type of hay feeding source. So I think a litter box is beneficial, but I don't think it's by any means necessary. And really whatever works for you to keep your cage clean is completely fine. I will link the litter boxes that I use down in the description, but litter boxes are sort of a personal choice. I think for me, they work great. And if you are thinking about it, I definitely recommend trying it out, but I don't think it's necessary. Is it easy cutting your piggy's nails? It's not very easy cutting my guinea pig's nails. I usually have my boyfriend help me, so I have never been able to cut their nails myself, just because I find it really difficult to hold them and also separate out their paw and clip their nail while making sure that I'm like fully supporting their spine. So when I clip their nails, I always have someone else hold them, and typically that person will hold them right here up against their chest, vertically, so the guinea pig's back is against their chest, supporting their bum, and then holding underneath their front paws. And then I sort of just take each paw with my hand and clip each nail. And I also saw a tip on Instagram from someone is to feed your guinea pigs bits of carrots while you're clipping their nails. And that way, like, it takes them a long time to chew the carrots, so you can really get the nails done while they're chewing. And I tried that last time and it worked pretty well. My guinea pig Marshmallow is a biter. She will bite you when you are trying to clip her nails. So my boyfriend who's holding her often gets bit on his fingers while I'm trying to clip his nails, and the carrot stopped that, so she didn't bite him last time. So definitely give that a shot as well, but I think it's most beneficial to have a second person there. If you're able to, all they really have to do is hold the pig. They don't have to clip the nails. You can do that and they just hold them. That's what I find easiest if you have a second person, and that's just how I do it. Do you think the Midwest cage is a good cage, or do you think making DIY cages are better? I definitely think that making DIY cages are 100% better than Midwest cages. I did have my two girls, Peanut and Marshmallow, when I first adopted them in the Midwest when they were babies, and I only had them in there for about 4 months, I would say, and it was fine while they were babies, but I feel like once 2 guinea pigs are adults, the Midwest just really isn't enough space. I know it meets the minimum, but in my opinion, I think the standard minimums that circulate in the community today are still too small. So personally, I think that 2 guinea pigs need at least 10 square feet of space. Even females, I really think they need 10 square feet of space. I think 8 would be okay for babies, and it was okay when I had my 2 girls as babies in one Midwest. But when they get bigger, I think 8 square feet is just not enough space, and I think 10 is good for a pair, and I think 10 should be the new minimum for a pair of guinea pigs. So that's just my personal opinion. So I think doing a DIY CNC cage is better. They're not too hard to make, but if you are struggling, there are places you can buy them pre-made, like the Guinea Pig Cages store and Cavi Cage. I make all of mine myself. I am not handy, and it hasn't been too difficult for me. So I definitely say DIY. You can make it big, you can make it fit the space that you need. So maybe you don't have a huge square, but you have an L. You can sort of work with DIY cages to make it fit, and so I think they're just a way better option to get your guinea pigs more space. What's your schedule like? Do you clean weekly and remove all fleece and clean everything? Yeah, so my schedule is that I do spot cleans once to twice a day. My 3 girls up here, they're very neat. They don't really get poo everywhere, so I only spot clean their cage once a day. But my other girls, and especially the boys, I try to spot clean their cage fully in the morning and then do a little bit of spot cleaning at night as well. And then I fully clean my cages once a week, typically on Fridays or Saturdays. Sort of depends on my schedule with work and class and everything, but I make sure to clean my cages once a week, full clean, take everything out. I usually even wipe the walls down with my water vinegar mixture just to get everything clean and off of there. And that's also when I change my litter boxes. I really just judge based off how dirty the cages look, but definitely I fully clean once a week. Would you ever get a hamster? I don't think I would ever get a hamster. I really enjoy watching hamster like cage setup videos here on YouTube, but I don't think that it's something that I'm personally interested in. For me, I feel like hamsters are just not as interactive of a pet as I'd like. Even if some of my guinea pigs don't necessarily enjoy being pet or held, they still all come up to greet me when I come in the room. They'll take food for me, and I just like that kind of interaction. I feel like isn't something that I would necessarily get with a hamster, so I just don't think hamsters are necessarily the right pet for me. Do you give Waffles boar cleanings? Yes, I give both of my males boar cleanings. Waffles gets a boar cleaning at least every 2 weeks, if not more often. Since he is older, his sack is like looser, so to speak, and so he definitely gets a lot more stuff up in there, and so Waffles just needs in general more boar cleanings than Cinnamon. I have actually not had to clean Cinnamon's sack at all since I got him. I check every time I do Waffles, but he never needs it, but Waffles always needs it. So Waffles' sack gets cleaned every other week, and then Cinnamon gets checked, but he hasn't needed it to be cleaned yet. Does it bother you that you have 3 separate cages for your pigs rather than just one herd? I wouldn't necessarily say it bothers me, but it is something that I think about a lot. I really think about in the future when I will be able to just have one large herd of guinea pigs, and I think that for me, like that was always my plan. Like I always wanted just one huge herd of females, and then I got Waffles, who was a male, and I thought he was a female, and the owner didn't tell me the truth, and then I had a male, and then Honey didn't bond with my females, and things just sort of derailed from my original plan of owning an all-female herd, which is completely fine. I love all of my pigs, and it's fine that they have to be separate. Obviously, it's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's just the way it is that I have to have 3 cages. It's definitely a lot more in terms of cage cleaning. I mean, I'm not necessarily upset about it, but I do look forward to the future when I can have one large herd. I don't know when that will be, probably not quite for a while, because Cinnamon and Waffles still have many years to live, as does Honey, so it will be quite a time before I have one large herd, but I do think that it would be nice to have one, and I do look forward to having one in the future, but for now I'm in no way upset about having 3 cages. It's just a little bit more work. Are you going to get any more guinea pigs? So at the moment, I am not necessarily on the lookout for getting more guinea guinea pigs. My room is definitely pretty much at capacity cage-wise, so the only place I could fit an additional guinea pig would be in my trios cage right here. The cage is 23 square feet, so it is big enough for 4 guinea pigs, and I only have 3 in there at the moment. So if I was to get another guinea pig, it would have to go in their cage, which means it would have to be a young single female, just because I don't think my 3 girls in here are going to bond with anyone older than them, and they're all around a year and a half in age. So not necessarily looking to adopt another guinea pig, but if I stumbled across one that happened to fit the exact requirements that I need, which is a young single female guinea pig, then perhaps. I'm not really looking to adopt more necessarily, but if I see one, if the opportunity comes, I would, just because I have one more spot, and I had told myself a long time ago that 8 was my max and I'm at 7. So I do have that spot there. I'm not in any rush to necessarily fill it, but it's there. And that's pretty much it. There's not much more to say about it. I'm not actively looking for guinea pigs to adopt and add to that herd, but if it happens, it happens. I can't really tell you guys a for sure answer because I don't really know, but I'm not looking, but who knows, maybe it will happen in the future. All right, so I think that is all the questions that I'm going to do for today's Q&A. I've been filming for quite a while and I still have plenty of more questions. So let me know down below if you guys would like to see a part 2 of this Q&A. But for now, that is all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did and subscribe to see more of my content. Thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.